Hi everyone, Leanne here from Jaded Blossom, and it is day one of the April 2024 release. Hey, so I'm using Jaded Blossom's brand new Gnome Dies Motorcycle Add Ons. The new Born to Ride outline dies and stamp set are Gnome dies. And I'm also using their Bicycle and Friends dies, the Gnome Dies Add-ons 1 and 2, Halloween Banner dies, Gnome Dies Halloween Costume Add-ons 1, Gnome Dies Birthday Add Ons, Balloon dies, and Jaded Blossom's Clear Jar Halloween Add-ons. I did assemble this on the Gnome Dies Motorcycle Add-ons assembly video, so check that out. I'm also using the two Pebbles pads, 31 and Boo. I'm also using Simon Says Stamp Holographic Rainbow die cuts with the View foil stack. So I have these 3 bones. Those are from the Halloween banner dies. And I'm just arranging them on a piece of vellum. And I'm just going to cut them all over. I'm going to make my own stencil. So I'm just quickly doing that. And then I will cut a few just separately on another piece of vellum just so I can use that. Now I have a piece of Paper Trank white cardstock cut at 4.25 by 11, and I'm scoring it at 5.5 inches with my Martha Stewart scoreboard on my Teflon bone folder. Working on a Stampin' Up! Pad. All my die cutting today was done with my Anna Griffin Empress machine. So I'm just scoring that down. And I've got some Lost Shadow Distress Oxide ink and a blending brush, and I'm just going to lightly blend that on the center of my card base. So just, lightly ink blending it on the center. There we go. And I'm just sort of giving a spotlight look. And I'm going to use that little stencil that I made with the vellum. Just taping that in place. And I'm going to be using the Distress Oxide ink in pumice stone, and I'm just going to use a dauber and daub all over this. A sponge dauber or whatever they're called. There we go. I actually made a boo-boo in the upper right, but I'll fix that by putting another bone there. There we go, and that's good. And I'm just going to cover the background in some bones just for fun. Just sort of making my own background, which is lots of fun. So like I said, that motorcycle character I put together on the Gnome Dies Motorcycle Add-ons assembly video, so check that out. Everything will be listed on my blog that I used to assemble the little guy with his sidecar. But, to see me put it together, you got to watch the assembly video. So I'm just sort of adding in more bones on my background here. And then I'll have a fun background for my motorcycle rider. There we go. Just sort of moving it around. The nice thing about using vellum for this is that ink doesn't go through vellum. So it's not going to, when you use a piece of paper, the paper will get full of ink and then it'll start to seep through. That doesn't happen with vellum. So now I'm using the 3 little separate bones that I cut into this vellum and adding, some separate bones on the corners. Next, I have a little 3/4 of an inch wide strip of American Crafts black cardstock, and I just added some pumice stone to the top of that. Now I'm pulling out my Hickory Smoke Distress Oxide ink, and I'm using a stamp from the stamp set, what's it called? The Clear Jar Halloween Add Ons. And I'm just going to randomly stamp this little bone in the background just to add a little something more. Just sort of, moving it around. There we go. And that's it. So now on the inside, I'm going to add a few strips of paper from those Pebbles pads. Just some Halloween pads with some, skulls, skull paper. I'm going to add a strip of this one. And then I'll add a little skinny strip of another one. These are just leftover strips that were in those pads that I had, using my ATG tape, lining that up. And then I do use a little tiny 1/4 of an inch strip of paper from that Die Cuts with a View foiled cardstock stack. And I'll add that to my little background here in between those 2 papers, which is kind of fun, right? And then I'll trim off the overhang with a pair of scissors. And then we will have those papers in place on the inside. Now, on the outside, I'm going to add on that 3/4 of an inch strip of cardstock, and that's going to represent the road. Sorry. Just going to trim off that overhang as well. There we go. Now, I did go ahead and I cut some fun balloons out of foiled cardstock. So that red one, that is from the Recollections Valentine Special Materials. It's just a red mirror cardstock. And then I cut the blue from that Die Cuts with a View foiled cardstock stack. And then I cut that kind of goldish yellow one out of Simon Says Stamp Holographic Rainbows cardstock. And I'm using black cardstock from Paper Tray Ink for the little strings. And then this is Nina Solar White 80-pound cardstock. So the little bones are from that same Halloween banner die, and so is that super fun skull that I'm adding to the balloon. That balloon itself was cut using Jaded Blossom's balloon dies. And then the smaller ones were cut from Jaded Blossom's birthday banners. Here we go. Now this little, well, it's not really cute. This little skull and crossbones is from the Gnome Dies Halloween Add Ons 1. And I'm going to add that to the front of this little puppy's little sidecar. And then I'm adding I cut it out in black as well, just so I can add fill in the eyes. I did the same with that balloon as well. So now I'm going to add the strings to each of these balloons, just with a little Barely Art glue using my reverse tweezers. Just lining them all up. And then I'm going to have them, tied to the back of that little dog's sidecar, which is fun, right? Remember, like I said, you can watch me put that together on the assembly video. So now I'm going to add this skull and crossbones balloon to the inside of my card base. And I'll be adding that to the right, or to the left-hand side, sorry. And then I've got my little happy birthday to my favorite biker dude. And that's a sentiment from the new Born to Ride stamp set. And I also use the outline dies. And there we go. Isn't that fun? So there is the inside of my card all done. And now the outside. Now I'm going to get my little biker in the right place. So first I'm going to add some ATG tape to the back of the little dog. And then I'm going to line up those balloons behind the dog. And then I'll be able to stick it down as a unit on my card base. So I'm just sort of figuring out where it's going to end up, along with my sentiment, Bad to the Bone. All right, that's why I have all the bones on the background. I thought that would be fun. Now I'm going to use Stampin' Up! Dimensionals to cover all of these items on the back. And then you'll be able to, add this to a card base, like I said, in one piece. So I thought this was pretty easy to put together, these little guys. But like I said, if you have any difficulty, you can certainly watch me put them together on the assembly video, like I keep saying, just for, to see what all the different dies are for. But, this was pretty easy to figure out. So I'm just adding on my, my normal sized Stampin' Up! Dimensionals and then the miniature ones. And there we go, we're all set. So this is an adorable release from Jaded Blossom this time, although they usually are, right? And I've been really enjoying it, and it's just lots of fun. So I'm pulling off all the backings of all those Stampin' Up! Dimensionals, and then I will add that to the front of my card base. And then we will be all set for this card. So like I said, super easy stuff. And, these Gnome Dies motorcycle add-ons could be for, any motorcycle rider in your life, which is fun. There we go. And I'm pulling off all of those little backings. And then we will pop this down onto my card front, lining it up on the road there. And isn't that cute? He's just adorable. And then I'm going to glue that sentiment flat on the front of the card with that Barely Art glue again. There we go. In the upper right-hand corner. There. And there is my card. Pretty fun, right? I'm going to pull out my We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper. I'm using the 1/2 inch, and I'm going to chomp the lower right and the upper left. You know, just for a little different look. And there you have it, my finished card. I think it turned out pretty darn cute, right? Adorable. So thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to hop on over to the Jaded Blossom blog, be inspired by the team. The Jaded Blossom store to get that Gotta Have It Now that's available. And otherwise you got to wait until later in the week to shop for things a la carte. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you soon in my next video. Bye, everybody.